So, Izzy, welcome to the show, my man. How's things?
Thanks very much. Very good. Yourself?
Dude, it's good. I'm not gonna lie, mate. It's been weird since you left us and jumped over to Mexico. I don't smell great food anymore in my apartment.
I
Weird.
know. I do miss it. I do miss it massively. Like there were some good times, but man's got to do what a man's got to do. It just felt right to kind of up and leave. But I do miss it. It was fun.
Hey, well, look, I think this is a perfect segue into this conversation because obviously we all know what you needed to go and do, and you've gone and done it, and the proof is in the pudding. Which I really think, given into this conversation, is going to open everything up perfect. But Izzy,
Yeah.
because this is your first time on the show, and I think you've got such an incredible story, and it'll set up the full foundations of where I want to go with this conversation. Is first things first, tell me a little bit more about you, because I think you've just got one of those incredible stories, which really just pave the path of why you do what you do. So
Yeah. Shall I take it back and make a long story short, but leaving the juicy details?
exactly that.
So back at school, I hated school, so I wanted a way out. My uncle owned like a small cafe restaurant, so I started working there, bunking off school, going there. I was 15. I set up an apprenticeship, five-star hotel, again just to get out of school and cook because it was the only thing I liked doing. Flunked school, didn't even do my GCSEs or whatever, and then yeah, I worked away, got to like 17. I was sous chefing in a fine dining restaurant, met Gordon Ramsay. I'd done a trial at his restaurant, offered a job and whatever. Unfortunately, I went down the wrong route and got into drugs and whatever, and then just decided that that kind of life wasn't for me. Like I become in that life, and I kind of went to cooking or whatever. So as time went on, I got deeper and deeper in it. My brother still does play poker for a living, like he's quite a well-known pro. And when I was on my nights out doing my thing, I used to kind of want to stay awake and do stuff because I couldn't sleep. So I'd watch him playing and playing. And then obviously over time, I started to learn how to play poker. I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. And then, yeah, basically within the first month, I made, I think, 16, 20 grand or something sterling playing poker. So I was like, right, I could do this for a living. So I quit my job and then just flew to Argentina, I think when I was like 23. And that was kind of like the start of my whole traveling thing. Yeah, so I lived the life playing poker or whatever. Then I ended up in Mexico, kind of, yeah, random long chain of events that got me to Mexico. Basically, real long story short, was I met this Mexican girl at a wedding. I was drunk on tequila and said to her, look, I might move to Mexico in 3 days. And she was like, yeah, right, whatever. I was like, look, you don't know me. I might move to Mexico in 3 days. And so I moved to Mexico. Well, I went there, booked the ticket when I was drunk a few days later, woke up, realised what I'd done, went to Mexico and stayed for about 6 years. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's one of those. I was a bit more erratic when I was younger. So I continued to play poker, but obviously I learned a lot about Mexican food um, and whatever. And obviously poker went bad. I was still in my bad spending habits. So I went broke, got a massive debt, and had to go home and really start from the bottom, get a job. And I had to build myself back up. And an opportunity come up for me to open a restaurant. Like I was really, really lucky. That said, I worked really, really hard at it. Built it up for a couple of years, paid off all my debt I was in. And then I ended up selling the restaurant, which actually finally, like after being in a big legal battle, kind of the sale went through properly 2 or 3 days ago, like properly after like 2 years of legal battles and whatever. So that's the kind of long story short. And in between now, I'd always like 7 years ago, I got an idea for doing new media, but I had so much going on in my mind, limitations and whatever. And then because I went broke, I started suffering with depression, and I couldn't get out of this kind of cycle of where I was at. Like, I was at the point where I'd said to people, like, I just want to die. Like, I put so much time into this thing, but I didn't know how it was. I was like suffering with perfectionism, like trying to basically problem solve everything myself. And then, yeah, after a while, I kind of gave up on that as well. I was like, I don't know which route to go, blah, blah, blah. And I just kind of lost all confidence in myself because I didn't believe myself anymore that I could achieve what I said I could, like, I found out I started calling, like, um, started calling myself, you know, like crap on myself. I don't want to swear. Can I swear?
Oh yeah, go nuts. Be you.
Okay, so cool. So I basically called bullshit on myself. After a while, I was like, you know, I believed my own hype when I was younger. I was like, oh, you know, I could really do this social media thing. I'm different. You know, I'm down in Mexico, blah, blah, blah. And I think my true goals were misaligned. Like I was doing it back then for the wrong reasons. I wanted to be famous and, you know, make money. And I think
It was
because
kind of
of
like the
that,
whole chasing the significance thing.
yeah, exactly. And for me, it was like I painted this picture of who I thought I had to be in my mind. So when I was on camera, like I was under pressure and I was really like, it was just ridiculous. I've got some old videos. I just wasn't me. And I looked like, looking back now, I've done some stuff where it's embarrassing. Like it's part of my journey basically. But yeah, so time went on. Then I just lost belief in myself and I lost belief in my thoughts. I was like, am I always gonna kind of be like this? And what's the point in living if you have to go through this daily struggle of almost like, it's almost worse than being in prison, I want to say, because you're locked in your mind in this thought process you cannot get out of. Like you can't get out of. Like
Yeah.
riddled with like bad habits that are so ingrained, like it's almost impossible to change them. Like almost impossible. I was so ingrained with doing some of the bad destructive habits that I just sat there daily. I was like, I am wasting my life. Like this is such a repetitive thing I'm doing. Like talking bullshit about what I'm going to do and changing my mind, changing my direction. So yeah, I was getting pulled to either way, and that's when I went to Bali because I was like, I had some friends out there. I was like, look, I'm going to go get some insight from people and decide which route I'm going to take. Am I going to go for like the Latin American audience, or am I going to go for like the English speaker? And there's like things pulling me both sides. My master plan has always been is like I stand out in Latin America. It's completely different, and I mean we'll get to that in a minute, no doubt. But I obviously had people on the flip side telling me, you know, forget that, you know, do this, and I was caught in between. So obviously I went to Bali, met you, and I remember you remember what I was like. It was kind of like stuck both ways, right?
Yeah, well, this is kind of why I want to get you on the show because I know where you're going. I can see it, and I believe in you, and I know that you're at this tipping point where things are just going to slingshot
Yeah,
you forwards. So
yeah,
for me, anyway, I'm excited about that, and I think the fun thing is about this conversation is how it's took you so long to kind of go. Do you know what? Like, I'm going to stop listening to everyone else. I'm going to go with what I enjoy doing. I'm going to go with what feels right for me and just go and execute on that. And I think what's happening now in real time, like this is happening right in this moment, is the
yeah,
momentum and the like you're blowing up on media on every single
yeah,
platform. Like right now, it's actually
yeah.
happening in real time. But for me, that didn't happen when you were trying to fit into everyone else's boxes or when you weren't listening to your intuition.
No, exactly, exactly. It's like I think we all have choices, and sometimes deep down we know the right thing to do, but we get so caught up in like thinking we need to plan out the process. Like for me, it was only a month ago. I was sat there, I was putting out polls on Instagram saying, should I do like my videos in English with Spanish subtitles or whatever? And everyone was saying, yeah. I was like, no, you know what? Like my selling point is the fact that I do my videos in Spanish. You know, the English subtitles work, and and then my thought process was like reverse engineer what I'm doing. Like I could focus on the English speaking audiences and just be another person who's come out, who's doing content. Or I could potentially slingshot myself into the Latin American market, a lot of which you speak English anyway, build up that whole kind of social proof of my account and my brand, and then transition a lot easier over. I mean, I'm growing like English speakers, English Americans, and whatever as well, but it's far being outweighed by my Latin American audience, like and my engagement. Everything's flying up, and I'm getting opportunities for like radio. There's like a local TV station. There's brands reaching out, and it's all a similar theme of what they're saying in terms of like we love your style, you know, like and I'm seeing all my posts, like the comments I'm getting, the shares and whatever. And this is helping me. So many people say, oh, Instagram's dead. You know, you can't grow on that. And it's like, no, you know, just watch how my account's going. And it's good because I focus on what I believe in. and how I know, taking what I've learned from TikTok over to Instagram, making the content fun but interesting rather than just being kind of boring on there as well. So it's massively about trusting your gut instinct. And I really was stuck in between it, and I was like, look, just the main thing for me is creating content. Like, as soon as I start getting in a rhythm, that's what truly makes me happy deep down. Like, I love creating content. So the more you put out there, you just build this momentum, and you're like, right, let's do more. Then you start analyzing what's working and whatever. And obviously, when you actually start growing the audience, and you start getting people reaching out to you, then all of a sudden you're like, wow, that belief that I'd lost years ago, all of a sudden I'm sat there now, and I'm getting people coming to me, wanting to put me on their networks. They've got streaming things, and I'm like, now I'm at the point now where I'm like, right, where do I put my time at? Like, what's the best use of my time? Then, it gets to that point where you you have to be kind of strict with your time, and this has all come off the back of like trusting the instinct and just going for understanding that you're going to have to work much harder than a lot of people. One video a day might not cut it. You have to test things. Don't be afraid to try new things, and this is kind of what I've done. And in the last month, the difference I've seen in my social media is just, the engagement's gone up like 200-300%, and I'm really growing a good solid following, and I just know within a year this is just going to be, I'm pretty certain on Instagram. My goal is before the end of the year is to get up to 100k, and obviously with that you can start working with great brands, you start putting your own products out. But I know in the meantime, it's like that hard work is now. So it's like, yeah.
I mean, the thing that I really want to kind of go into here with you is, if we just strip this back in terms of like a branding perspective. So when it comes down to a personal brand, you've got to, you're amazing at, before this, you were doing the characters and all that sort of stuff, but then you just found your feet, and it was just a case of, look, I'm not going to hide anything. I'm just going to be who I am, bring out this funny version of myself. I'm going to create these characters. So before we jump into the technical aspect, I kind of want to go into that, because you kind of had to just put everyone's opinions and judgments aside and just be, do you know what I mean? I can do a great Gordon Ramsay impression. I'm going to go and be Gordon Ramsay.
Well,
so talk to us about that.
This is the thing, is like, that's kind of always what I've been like. I've been like that as a person, and there's been so many people have told me, oh, you have to be more professional. And it's only since I've stopped giving a shit what people think about me that I was like, you know what? Not everyone, I think way too many people care what people think about them. So they're not themselves. So they don't grow like they should, because people can spot inauthenticity. So for me, I was like, yeah, you know what? Like, I'm going to put a wig on. I'm going to put filters that make me look like, an old lady or whatever, and do the voices, because it's, at the end of the day, we're dealing with short attention spans, and you just have to be yourself. And this is stuff I do in real life, like I would online. I think it's so important, to just, be yourself, and just not care what people think. And if you're a weirdo, be a weirdo on camera. Show your skill and whatever, but do it in an entertaining way. Show kind of both sides to you, and just don't hide it. And just, because at the end of the day, it's like, one thing I say is we're all going to the same place eventually. So what people think about you now, there's always going to be people that think you're an idiot who are going to unfollow you, but there's going to be a bunch who really buy into you and love your personal brand and what you're about and the message you give out. So
I always think it's a case of just be yourself and let the world fall in love with who you really are, and it'll bring in the people who are meant for you, but also push away the people that aren't. And I think that's the same on media as well. It's the same kind of dynamic.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's so I see way too many people really caring what people think, all these likes and stuff, comments. I just take it as it's not an ego thing. I take it as what's working, and it's like, right, did that piss my audience off? Are they not really into that kind of stuff or whatever? Do they want a bit more my personality, like this stuff? And so I use it as metrics. But from a personal branding standpoint, I mean, it's a bit unconventional. I'm trying to in some aspects be professional in what I do, but after coffee, sometimes I can't help what comes out. Do you know what I mean? And it's almost like when you go out on a heavy night out, you drink loads. The next day you wake up, you're like, what have I done? So like, if I have a couple of cappuccinos, I could reel out some content. Coffee wears off. I'm like, oh no, what have I done? But I've already put it out there. It's already been, the world's seen it. So
yeah. So look, let's kind of move this through now. So there's a lot of people in the world who have got something that they want to share. They've got a message. They've got something quirky that they want to put out there to the world. Now, for you, like obviously you're now doing a lot of high level consulting with regards to this sort of stuff, and obviously creating ecosystems and growth and all that sort of stuff. Where would you say the best places to start for people are? Because obviously what works for one person won't work for another. So if we were just to start there in terms of where should people set up, where should people build personal brand or brand, what would be your advice to those guys?
I mean, I'm going to say all day long, like if you want to start a personal brand, whether you've got a huge personality or not, I've always said TikTok is the best because of the organic reach that's available. And once you understand it, you put yourself out there, you can grow a huge audience. And people are growing businesses of TikTok alone. But then you can use that to really see, before the content was so serious on platforms like Instagram and whatever. So now what you're seeing is you're seeing a different wave of content that's moving over there. So like if you would start out on TikTok, it's a great way because content doesn't have to be over polished. You can go viral, you can explode overnight. But then if you're really smart, and this is kind of what I teach people, is if you're really smart about it, you can grow your other social medias off the back of TikTok easily. Just with calls to action, providing enough value. So like, you don't have to be this out and out big personality. At the end of the day, if you're teaching people, if you can do infotainment, great. But providing you're teaching them right calls to action, TikTok's the kind of place to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I always think it's a case of find the platform where your audience are going to be, and you can just kind of like create that and then build the ecosystem around that, and it should fuel
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely. I've had a merge because I've been massively hyped on TikTok, but since my Instagram's been growing really well, I'm really seeing the huge advantages of that. Like I already knew the advantages were good. So before I put all my eggs in the kind of TikTok basket, now I'm like looking at all my platforms and I know each one what purpose they serve. So it's like the Brando I got offered yesterday. It's really good. It's like good money on TikTok, but once you can chuck in a really engaged Instagram following into it, suddenly, the opportunities build up, and then you start doing the stuff on Instagram, which can help you grow YouTube. So they all serve a purpose, but if you're starting out, TikTok's one of the best ways, purely based on you can really get your content out there, and you can really adjust fast, for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you focusing on any other of the platforms? Because I know obviously with you, you've kind of like found this is our main media structure. This is what's working. This is where our audiences are. Are you trying to move through any of the other platforms at current?
So TikTok's obviously my main hub, my biggest follower. And Instagram's the next one. Like I've set my goal 100K by the end of the year. So like,
you're going to hit that so much quicker than the end of the year. I give you 3 months at this rate.
The way I'm going, like without any more growth, then it will work out around the end of the year. But obviously, I'm banking on it. As my followers go up, they keep sharing. It's probably going to grow faster. So, but at the end of the year, if I could get to 100K by the end of the year, would just be insane. Like what you can do with brand deals and whatever in my niche is amazing. So now the focus is on funneling those two together. And getting a lot behind there, then I'm offering out incentives on both platforms to get people to YouTube. So go watch this video. You can win a Zoom cooking class with like 5 of your friends where we make margaritas or whatever, because YouTube's always been the one I've wanted to do. And, like I'm never going to let that to the side. Like now I've got really going TikTok and Instagram. YouTube's the kind of one I've always wanted. I'm going to pull both platforms together and keep doing what I'm doing, build up momentum to get people onto YouTube. And then at the moment, I've just started Facebook as well. So I've got my personal page is more like catered to the English-speaking audience, where I do live cooking, and then the Facebook pages I'm building up as well. So I've just started on that.
The thing that I love about this as well is like with regards to business and branding, you've you've took action. So you've done the hard part of, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put myself out there. Amazing. Yeah. And this is what I really commend you for, at listening to what comes back and adapting.
Yeah.
So give us a bit of a talk on that, like, because obviously with you mentioned at the start, at first you were doing it you were listening in order to change for people, but now you're listening more in a way where you can serve people better. You're not changing yourself, you're serving people better. So talk to us a little bit about that. Obviously you're in a position where the brand's growing, but you're actually getting more growth from looking at the KPIs of the platform, but also listening to what the audience want more of. And
exactly, and you do that. Like one of the most important things where everyone goes wrong on social media is they focus on followers, and I'm focusing on.
So glad you got into this.
I'm focusing on fans. So like everyone says to me, "Oh, yeah, you know, I've got X amount of followers. That's so good." I'm like, you shouldn't be focusing on followers. Like followers are good. You need followers to create a fan base, but you need fans to have a kind of proper business. So what I've done, like, and so many people go wrong on social media, is they just chuck stuff out there which either suits what they want to do, or it suits, or they don't really know. They don't ask questions. So what I do is I jump on live streams all the time. I have conversations. Every live stream, I thank the people for coming on, thank them for their time, you know, because it's so important. And like they're always thankful for me for the content I'm giving them. But I say to them, look, you don't realize how grateful I am for you. Thank you for your time, because money comes, money goes, but you can't get time back. So when people are giving me that amount of time and feedback on what they like, what they want more, it helps me massively grow as a brand. Because I could, if I wanted for my ego, I could put out whatever content I want. Would people do it? Would they share it? Probably not. So by actually looking back on analytics, asking people, asking questions, engaging with people, live streaming, it allows me to really find out what people want, what they need help with. And it shows them that I'm listening to them and I'm giving them back through building that trust that just works for both ends. I think this is where so many people are missing out. They're just so focused on followers, where they could get from, you know, like from Tinder, you know, check out my Instagram, and you're like, what do you want? What do you want followers from Tinder? Do you know what I mean? You just want, like, why? You know, and I'm like saying to people, I'm like, I don't care about how many followers I've got. It's about, like, are they fans? Like, do they love what I do? Do they tune into my live streams? Are they going to follow me on other social medias? You know, like, I'm not interested in, like, just going around and flaunting and saying to people, oh, you know what, I've got 160,000 on TikTok or whatever. It's like, no, it's more like, right, checking my engagement. Are people making my recipes? Like, you've probably seen in my stories how people are sharing a lot of my recipes. And what this is doing is it's helping me rapidly grow, because I'm giving the community what they want. In return, they trust me and they're trying my stuff out. So then they check their stories, and it's just free money. But yeah, that's it. It's fans versus followers. It's just a huge thing.
Look, I'm really, like, happy we've gone into this topic. So I see a lot of people really get caught up on the fans and the followers, and it's just such a like, you could have, if you've got, say, 500 fans, like, followers, all 500 of those engage and they are trusting for an account that's got 10,000 and only 100. This account's more powerful than that. So,
of course,
the thing that I love about this is, as well, with you, is when it comes down to any form of brand, it's about transparency, consistency, and frequency. And then that's what builds it. Like, it's giving the same message, giving the same content over and over again through different variables. And eventually people attract to that, don't they? And that's what you see, like, definitely. Influencers. People complain about influencers with these big audiences. And at the end of the day, like, do you know what? No, they beat you on consistency. They showed up every day. It might only be a picture of themselves in a bikini, but they got their audience because they've done that consistently for the past 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. And they've shown up. Like, I used to be one of those who used to slate and be, oh, I'm much better than him, you know. But now looking back on it, I'm like, but they showed up constantly. Yeah, I might be a better chef than them, but the fact is they built their following, you know, through being consistent. So I'm at that stage now where I'm like, I appreciate everything people are doing, because I look at, yeah, there's definitely better ways to grow an audience. Yeah, there's definitely better ways to treat your audience, like engaging with them, actually engaging back. But it's to each their own. You know, I just see it as a real long game, and you put the work in now, and then down the line you start outsourcing stuff, whether it's filming and whatever. But it's like, yeah, consistency. Like, what is it they say, which is so true? Like, hard work far outweighs talent. Is that the right
massively.
one?
Yeah.
You know, if you've got the talent but you don't work hard, and this is kind of like dead honest how I was. Like, I can film and edit to a very good standard. I can story tell well. Like, I've got all the things, but I just wasn't working hard at it because I was so caught up in my mind. Now I've gone the other way where I'm just hammering content, and now it's excelling myself much faster than I thought it could have because of the approach I've took to it, and because I am being consistent with my content, my message. So yeah, definitely.
So the other thing that I'd love to go on with this is you mentioned about shareability. We always find in media, like the biggest thing to get, like, to aim for is like the shareability of the content that's going out there, or the virility.
Yeah.
So I'd love to talk to you about that. Like, what are you using? What would you consult a brand with to kind of get that shareability or that virility from their content?
Well, it's like you know, obviously you've got to look at your metrics first and see what's working and what's not. You know, like for me, as my own personal brand, I do mix up, do some videos in English, but I know one thing for sure is the Spanish language works. Like, me and my Spanish accent works massively. Obviously, I've got a huge female audience, and so that combined with being a little bit cheeky with like some local words and putting spins on words and whatever, combined into a short video, is just the perfect recipe, so to speak, for making viral content, for making people share your stuff and whatever. And that's obviously how the huge growth comes about. So yeah, I think it's like, again, so many people are like, they're putting out there what they think people want to see, whereas when you start to play around with content, I started to see that on Instagram. I started to do some stuff that people don't normally do on Instagram, and bang, the engagement goes up, the shares and whatever. And you start to be like, right, how can I take something like that and mix it in with my brand and my core message, but still make it fun and shareable? So it's tough to say exactly what, because each niche is always going to have different kind of shareability methods and whatever. But it's just the important thing, I think, is to not, like a lot of bloggers, food bloggers, they get stuck in a stagnant way where they're like, no, my profile's got to be perfect and share photos. And it's like, look, people get bored of just flicking through, you know, they're not going to share that on and whatever. Whereas if you chuck in some like random stuff, or like portray it in a different way, you see, like, I see people work much harder on their content than me, but mine's growing a lot more engaged because of the way I deliver. I deliver from my phone. They're all with like $5,000 cameras and massive lenses, you know, taking 50 photos, sitting there editing each one, and, you know, whole day or two to do a post. Whereas I bang like 9-10 pieces of content out in 3 days by the time they've done one, and my engagement's high just because of the way the content's delivered.
It's real.
So it's always like, yeah, it's real, and it's like, it's important to just not get caught in one way. Like, experiment, you know, always look for how you can do better.
I feel like a lot of people overthink it. Like, I always see a lot of people are just constantly like, instead of put what you want to put out. I think that's point number one, and let the world fall in love with that, instead of just being sat there completely overthinking it, trying to mold yourself into something that isn't.
Way too many people, like I was saying, like literally a month ago, I was putting content out there, and I was like, what are you doing? You know, like, I wasn't sure, you know, it's been some videos in English, some in Spanish, and this, that, and now I've just found my rhythm, just because I've just been forcing the content out there. I'm like, right, somehow this is just working, you know, like I've got over all these mental blocks, because what happens when you start being really productive, you stop overthinking, because you've got less time to think. You've got videos to edit and get out there. You've got your next piece of content to plan. So you it's so easy
get the feedback as well. You get the
exactly.
feedback from doing. It's like, oh, this is working. Oh, that didn't.
Exactly. So like I've took like snippets of videos where like my conversions have been amazing into followers, and it's easy to want to stay on that type, but then I've tweaked. I've looked what worked, what didn't, and tweak that. And so now it's converting better and better. But yeah, like I said, just get out there, do your content. Like, so many people overthink it. The more you sit and overthink and stress out about it, the less productive you are. The more productive you become, the less time you've got to think and overthink. You know, if you're a business coach, get out business tips. It doesn't have to be a pretty polished video. You're helping people. For me, rather than overthinking every recipe, just get it out. You know, you're teaching people a lot, in general, far less skilled than yourself. So any information you're giving them is generally good. Start putting it out and see what works, see what connects.
I think we're in this amazing golden era in time, and this is why I implore so many people, like, instead of like giving in to the fears of embracing media, is go all in and embrace it. We've got this, we're in control. Like,
Yeah,
we've never had this. When it was TV, we had to sit down and we were fed whatever was given to us. But now with this
yeah.
device, we're in control of what we want to see. And the
It's
beautiful, you know what I mean? We can be the media, we can be the radio, there's no time that has ever been in my lifetime where it's easier to build and create than right now.
it's just I spoke to someone about this. Like, it's phenomenal. Like, I'm at the stage where I'm starting out with like brand deals and whatever. But I know in a year or two, like once YouTube's grown and whatever, like I was sat there negotiating a brand deal yesterday that would, you know, take me a month and a half to work in England to receive the money I'll get for it. And it's going to take me like a few hours maximum through a phone. So you could sit there, you could film, produce yourself, edit the content, even live stream to the world. I mean, it is just mind blowing what people have got there. On top of that, if you don't know how to start, you can use this to learn about how to do it. Like, how do I edit videos? Do you know what I mean? It's like we are. It was good 5 or 6 years ago, but the quality on the phones is not what it is now. Like, we are at a stage now with phones where it is phenomenal, the kind of standard you can produce, from photos to video
Yep.
and it's just,
What I love about this
yeah,
topic is, as well, that we're speaking about it, is like anything that's amazing, it it will go away in the era. So like right now, whilst we have device and control of what we see, we're in control of, do you know what I mean, looking and creative. But for example, with 5G now allows the device to disappear, then we lose that control again. So we step outside.
yeah,
Show me inspirational content. Suddenly we're not in control of what we see. We've fed it again.
yeah.
So I think right now, whilst this is the period, I really think this is the golden era for, if you want to create your own thing, to really go in and
Yeah,
bring
definitely.
life or put yourself out there.
Definitely. I just think everyone should stay. A lot of people just have to get over the fear of being judged and fear of looking stupid, because I mean, it's painful. Like, it's painful to not really chase the life that we have. We've just got such good opportunities literally at our fingertips now, and you know, it's so easy to give in to people. Listen, and the people that say it's stupid what you're pursuing. You know, I had it for years, and it's only now people are just like, they're shutting up when I bring up topics about what's going on. They're not so quick to jump and say, "Oh, you're wasting your time." It's like, "Oh, yeah, oh, cool," you know. And it's like, they see you growing, they see you sharing your journey, and it's these people that used to troll and give you shit before. All of a sudden, it's like they're sat there. They're like, okay, so
Hey, I
you know,
need
he
your
was
help.
on.
How did you do
Yeah,
that?
exactly. Then they start reaching out. You know, oh, what do you think about this? You're like, oh, hold on, man. You know. So yeah, I just say to
Totally get that.
everyone, you know, and it's also understanding. This is really crucial, because a lot of people, like, they put my success down to like, oh, you've got like this outgoing personality or whatever, and you're like, you know, it's all well and good for you, you're extrovert, but what people have to understand is people connect with different people. Undoubtedly, I've had a lot of people who have unfollowed me because I'm too much for them. I'm way too much. I wreck their heads, and I'm like, this guy is way too much for me, you know. So like, there's people that will connect with all different personalities. You could be the most boring person ever, but people will connect with you. You know, it's like, I know I piss people off. I know I've seen that how many people unfollow me, but it's like, whatever, you know, you just don't like my personality. But it's like, don't feel you have to be so extrovert and out there to succeed. You don't. There's enough people on YouTube doing it just because they're themselves and people are connecting with them. So we spoke about earlier, you only need a small amount of people who love you to create a huge business.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of tangents here which I'd love to go on to. Like, first things first, if I just say, like, tool back to what you were just saying then about the whole people ridicule. I always like to say to people, especially like when it comes down to personal brand consulting, is like, at first you will be ridiculed before you're revered. But you've got to stand out there and just you've got to take the hits, and then suddenly it comes back full circle. I think that's always the case with whatever you do that's new and a little bit different. But then the other little thing that I'd like to like jump in on that is like how you got to put your ego aside, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
and it's like it's like the weird thing with me, because before I was like you know, kind of over polished, and now, and like, I'm in a weird position now where I'm seeking discomfort. Like, things that would have used to make me really anxious, like now I'm attacking. Like, I went on the radio in Spanish, and it's like, you know, I'm trying to now push to get on TV. Is going to be in my plan in the next year. I know
just
I'm
a quick one though,
but
just a quick one on that. Like, I remember having a coffee with you, and you're like, your biggest issue is that you sometimes was it you felt a little bit anxious, like trying to speak Spanish, because obviously it's not your native tongue. So, and now, does that make sense? Now that's your thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, for me before, I was like, there's a lot I want to express. And I was like, is it going to work? And yeah, now it is my thing, because I get by it, and I've improved because I've forced myself to do it, because I know the opportunity's there. So what I've done is I live stream a lot now, and I sit and talk to people. And it's like, it is leaving the ego. Like, I used to beat myself up and already defeat myself mentally, thinking, oh, how it would go wrong. Like, now I know if I go on TV, for example, in Mexico, and I screw up, I'll probably laugh about it and troll myself about it in front of everyone. Whereas before, like, it used to eat me up. Like I do on my live streams. I live streamed TikTok promoted a live stream. I had almost 8,000 people watching in one go for an hour and a half. I had 100,000 people total on my live stream. Promoted to the whole of South America and Mexico. And I was trolling myself, because sometimes I'm just like, you know, my Spanish, like, what am I saying? You know, like, I laugh, I troll myself. And it's like, before I would never, I was like, no, you know, I've got to speak fluent Spanish and be the thing. And it's like, you know, now it's like, move that ego. You're going to fuck up so many times, but it's the only way you're going to learn and grow. The people that are going to laugh at you are the ones who aren't your fans anyway.
Yeah.
Like, the ones who are going to say, man, you know what? Come back stronger. They're the ones who are going to be with you, who aren't going to laugh at your downfall. The ones who laugh at your downfall, let them be. You know, like, it just, do not focus on let
that's
them
what
be.
I love about this. That's what I love about this. It's the whole Eminem thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you own your flaws, suddenly you've removed everyone's grenades that they throw at you. Like,
exactly. Like,
you're free.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, look, you could try and troll me all you want, but like, what are you going to do to troll me that's going to make me feel bad? What, laugh at me because I speak ridiculous Spanish? Do it. It's like, who's the one who's growing and really growing something well? I'm happy if it, you know, troll me all you want. It gives me interaction. I just turn it around and just say, you know, you keep commenting, troll me, because my fans will jump to the thing, and then it creates, it sparks engagement. And it's like, just put it out there, you know, and just don't care. There's always going to be people who want to see you fail. You might find it's friends or family or just the general public, but there's always those who are going to build you up. And when you do fuck up and fail, you know, the ones who are really out for you will look after, you know, they'll help build you back up. The other ones will laugh and give you shit, but it's like, just don't listen, you know, take every chance as a learning opportunity to get uncomfortable and grow, and understand, like, your message, your end goal, what you want to do. Like, I want to work in media and TV and whatever. This is kind of what I'm focused on. So I love filming. Along the way, I know I have to put myself in positions where I'm going to be speaking Spanish on TV somewhere, you know, being interviewed, being very, very uncomfortable. But Whereas before I would have wanted to put it off. Now I want to do it because I know I'm going to fuck up sometimes, but it's only going to make me stronger. I'm only going to grow from it. You know, so it's like really about seeking discomfort. So this is why I've been doing the live streams. You know, I primed myself on a TikTok live stream. That was eating me up every night. I was like, right, how do I deal with this? Do more right now. Start live stream, just live stream. And then when I went on, I crushed TikTok live. So it's the same from the media. So look, just put myself out there, put myself in uncomfortable positions, and just know that that's the way you're going to grow. There's no point hiding from something. You know, if you know you're in goal, you most probably have to get uncomfortable along the way to achieve it.
100%, totally agree with you. Look, if we were to create like a little bit of a step-by-step guide, like I'm new, like let's just pretend I'm brand new to this. I'm not great at media. I don't really know what I want to do, but I know I've got a message, or I know I've got something that I want to kind of like share and help people with. So like, what would be the best thing? So first things first, this is who I'm going to be. This is the content that I'm going to put out. Then it's finding the content form which I'm going to press it out on. Correct?
Yeah.
Then how do we see? So what would we then do from that? So we've got those 3 points. Then it's consistency. Then is it a case of just keep listening and adapt? Would you say if someone just follows that structure for brand, audience, fan base growth?
For that, like if I was to look back on myself now, advice I'll give someone would be either go all in on it, where if you've got a bit of money behind you, where you can really put yourself in a position 6 months or a year where you don't have to work, but you can focus fully on it. If not, then keep the job, but be prepared to sacrifice for the long run. This is something I didn't do if I wanted a mixture of everything. So it's like you keep your job, but rather than going out on the weekends, you use that time to build your personal thing. So the first thing would be to understand the main platforms. I'd say TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook is a good way to get your media out there. Understand the type of content on each platform. And obviously you can learn all this on YouTube, you know. But get basic grips of storytelling, but the main thing you can really do is just start getting your content out there. So learn how to basically edit. Don't worry about all this expensive equipment. Like I said, I do it from this now. Before I've got I've got access to some amazing equipment, but now it's just about, really just getting the content out there. And, people will say quality over quantity. You want to get a fine line in between. At the end of the day, there's enough social media platforms out there. But if you're smart with your content, you can take one piece and break it down into loads. But it's more so, get the content out there and don't overthink it. Stop thinking about the end result and get into that phase of like really building consistency within your content and your message, because you're always going to refine that. What I wanted 7 years ago has completely changed today. My message, like now I know my message, and it's tweaking, and it's probably going to continue to change and develop. But don't get caught up in that whole process of being like, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, where you don't produce content. First and foremost, if you want to grow on social media, you need content. Written, you're probably not going to grow as much. Photos, probably not going to grow as much. Video is the only way you're really going to start properly connecting with people and grow a big audience.
Yeah, I love the fact you just mentioned that. So even we're noticing this now on our stats. It's like all the media platforms now are giving preference to exposure, I feel. So it's like if you go live, they will feed you more. If you do video,
definitely
fed to more. And I think it's then photo, then text. So I really feel like the platforms now are trying to push you to be authentic and real, like literally get it, show up.
They do that, and obviously for them, is it keeps people on the platform. If you've got a 5-10 minute video that's very engaging, you're keeping people on the platform a lot longer than a photo where people just swipe by. So then what ends up happening is they go down rabbit holes. So this is like on YouTube now, they give preference and they actively push out longer videos because it keeps people on the platform. So if you can create engaging, good quality content and have tactics to get people engaging, it's definitely going to give preference. But beyond preference, it's just the way people are connecting. Everyone's seen quotes ripped off from Google. Everyone's seen written posts and photos. Like, you can connect with someone so much faster. Like, it might take you 6 months to a year, like having a blog, to properly connect with someone, because it's kind of like you kind of have the consumer, the creator, and when you've got a blog, you've got the interim. There's no real like. It's almost like you're sending each other postcards. There's no connection. You know,
I don't think it's even as direct as that. Like you send them
no,
now on social media, you throw in a postcard and hoping that they see it to then go and read it.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly. So when you go video, it's like you could take 6 months of reading someone's blog post, not knowing them. You could have an hour live stream, and they're like, "Wow, I get this person. I've connected with them." You know, and it will just change your game on social media. Like you have to get uncomfortable. But this is where so many people they shit themselves filming themselves. Like I was the same. How comfortable I am coming now is like, if you had to see me back in the day, it's just understanding that it's the process. You are going to look stupid, but like we said earlier, only the people who are insecure are going to troll you and give you shit. The good thing is to flush them out and seek potentially. I have people reach out to me, look, I want to do it, how can I do it better? And I'll give advice. So try to be around that, but really video is the media. So going back to the step-by-step process, you know, you can have all these grand ideas and whatever, get your video out there. It doesn't have to be prim and polish, and get consistent with it. You can develop over time, but if your core message isn't good or your information's not good you're giving out, you're never going to grow if it's shot on a 5D Canon versus a little phone.
Mate, some of the best content we've done. We've got all the equipment and the studios and all that sort of stuff. Like you were saying, the best is even on stories. It's like, hey, you know what I mean?
It's like you could do so much stuff, and it's like I'm always posting random stuff on my stories, but yeah, just straight off the phone. Like people are connecting with people. You can shoot it like really well and get the shallow depth of field and whatever, but you spend all that time. People just want to connect. They want to connect with someone. If you've got a good message out there, just do it by a video. You don't even have to have the new iPhone. You have iPhone 7, iPhone 6. Still good enough quality to get going.
Yeah,
build that initial audience.
I found, with full transparency, I've spoke in front of thousands of people, like audiences of eyes, and then it's a complete different skill set with a lens, and because there's no emotion, you can't gauge the audience and all that sort of stuff. I've always found that was another fun little skill set to build. But the thing that I'm doing, like what you're saying, and the continual thread is just do it. It will build confidence, and then keep doing it, which is just like any.
It does, and it's also really realizing like stories are there. Essentially, it's an extension of what you're doing. It's like a mini vlog. So like on Instagram, like I post random stuff, and I tell people, I'm like, look, sorry for wasting your time, but this is what it's about. People laugh. People find some of the shit I do so hilarious. It's just an extra way, and it's like just being yourself. It's just as soon as you remove overthinking from the equation, it becomes so easy. So I say so easy, like it's much easier to at least get in front of the camera and do it. So
incredible, isn't it? Like we really are, like us as human beings, we think the whole world is against us, but really it's just us against ourselves, and we just need to prove ourselves.
Us against ourselves and our mindset. And then what you do find, the more you put yourself out there and content, once you start getting recognized, you start falling into the right groups of people who do amazing stuff with you or for you. So it's like this brand deal. Like I always give great information to people about storytelling and video and whatever. I've suddenly found myself in a position where I'm like, well, how much do I charge? And because I've provided so much value and been within the right group network, I can now reach out to people who are helping me. So it's like, once you start to grow, you grow in confidence, but you start to meet real like-minded people, who are putting themselves out there, other weirdos who will all help you gel together. So you might go from that initial bit where you've got the naysayers, the people telling you you're wasting your time. Suddenly you start growing and you start getting the people that say what you're doing is good, and they start pulling you and helping you improve and collabing, which helps you grow and grow and grow, and then recommending you. So it's just that initial bit is taking that first thing, and it's just getting your message out there.
Definitely. If you could, so when we connected over a coffee and you were like, I really want to go and do this before you like knuckle down and went all in. If you could kind of like go back and give yourself a big piece of advice, like from that moment, because that's where I feel a lot of people are. What would you say to yourself? Like when you're a little bit lost and overthinking things, what would be the piece of advice?
Create content. Like if you're naturally
Action.
a content creator, you know, action. It really like you know, don't overthink it. I mean, you do have to kind of be clear. I think with me it's kind of different in a way, because it's not about what type of food shall I do, it's what language shall I speak in my videos. So for me, it felt like a big thing, but really it wasn't. It's like, so the best piece of advice I would give is the decision you make can be tweaked along the way. A month, 3 months, 6 months, a year. But you've got to take action and able to move forward and allow yourself to tweak those things. So don't get caught up in the thing, do the action, knowing that you can always pivot down the line anyway. So yeah, just go for it. Like absolutely go for it. Just don't be sat there being like, oh, you know, like the overthinking stage. Beyond being unproductive, it's not healthy. It's not healthy to sit there and be stressed, knowing what you should be doing, but then you're stressed mentally because you're not. At least I found that with myself. And it caused depression. Like I was sat there and, you know, I really developed a hatred for myself because I wasn't taking action. And now I've just started doing that. And it's like I'm pivoting all along. I'm constantly changing my kind of trajectory. Yeah, that's the right thing. Like, you know, it's like last month when we were in Bali, I was getting prepared. I was launching TikTok consulting, you know, and then all of a sudden now I'm like, wow, is it the right thing to do? Because I'm getting so busy with my other stuff. And it's like, again, you pivot. It's just don't get caught in between, you know, where you're caught in inaction. Take action and know that you can pivot.
I think the fun thing as well is like with regards to that, like TikTok's provided the platform where it's not polished. You can just show up, like just be you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it favors that. It favors that. And this is why people love the platform. It's because it's authentic. You know, I always troll people about Instagram about how they rip quotes off from Google and whatever, took a photo, you know. But it's like TikTok's really forced that. And now obviously Instagram is looking at TikTok's features and whatever. So there's no better platform starting than TikTok, because no matter how weird you are or boring, you're going to fit in on there.
Yeah.
You know?
There's always your people there.
Yeah, exactly. You're always going to find an audience who will take to you, whether you're young, old. There's grannies on there and granddads who are crushing it with huge followings, millions of followers. Granddads who aren't even producing their own content. They've got their grandkids producing their content and they've gone viral, you know. Granddads 7-year-old how to use a phone. I've gone viral. I've got huge followings. I'm making huge amounts of money off the back of just, you know, TikTok, just fitting in and being weird.
So, Izzy, with regards to your own brand, because I think I'd be stupid not to get you on here and get you being you. But who's your favorite character? You show up on social media and pull an array of different characters.
Well, big boy. Yeah, I'm waiting for my hair. Yeah, damn. No, I love doing the Ramsey one, but then I've got the old. I think the one that really connects with people. There's a filter you can put on TikTok. So I call her Consuela. So it puts on like this makeup and a wig. And hablo como así, como las mujeres. It's like how the real old kind of grandmothers. So it connects with people on a different level. Like a lot of people are saying, oh, it reminds me of my grandma who used to cook me whatever on the ranch. So that's got to be one of my favorite characters for sure.
I love it. Yeah. So I can remember when I just walked into your apartment and you were recording. I just looked on the camera and I was like, what's he doing in there? I could just hear you like on this chick's Spanish voice. Just popped in.
I do it when I'm out in public and people look, they're like, this guy's talking to his phone in a really weird accent. But it's, again, like, you know, one last thing on storytelling. You've got to connect with people on a much deeper level. So if you can trigger something in them. So I'm using it to trigger away within Mexicans, you know, it makes them remind stuff. And it's fun to do anyway. It's stuff I do anyway. Or, you know, Herbert the Pervert shows up in some videos as well.
Go on.
Sweet Jesus. That's when that's hot sauce. So like he pops up in videos and people are like, what is going on? It's like, whatever, it's my channel. You don't like it, unfollow me. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, do Jon Snow. Whilst we're on here, we've got to get Jon Snow on here.
Winter is coming, my lord. It's not bad, eh?
It's funny. Funny thing is, you actually look like him as well.
Now I'm sweating here now. Let me turn the thing on. You built up a sweat in me. Yeah, it's coming on. So hot outside.
So, Izzy, look, like, what's next for you? Like, obviously now you're at this tipping point. I love seeing it in people when they just jump in and it tips. I really feel you there. You obviously you're in talks with TikTok as the actual main HQ. So, what's next? Where does this all go? Because I feel like you've got really clear and you've now got foresight on where it's all moving towards.
Yeah, so like I'm doing it in initial phases. Like, so my phase building now is that kind of trust and community. I'm in no rush to do the product, but like where I want to take it is obviously like media and TV, like I said, and maybe get a TV show. Well, yeah, that is the goal. So in terms of goals for this year, I want to get to 100K on Instagram, 250,000 on TikTok, YouTube. Within the next year, I want to get 100K subscribers, plaque. So that's kind of my social media goals. And in the short term, it's like I'm branding, like to get, aprons with my logo on, hot sauces and whatever. And then, yeah, within the next year, start working in media, TV shows, like go on there, like throughout the country or whatever, and do things to kind of build that profile. So then I get, a real core solid brand, and it will be thoughts about really the product and pushing it out once I've really got that core thing and a cookbook or whatever. I'm not in a rush to do it just yet. I know I could probably start, but I'd rather put my focus into my real end goal, and that's to really build a huge personal brand and make a huge difference. But this is why I don't want to get too caught up on the business side yet. I'm more focused on building that kind of huge community and whatever. And yeah, TV.
I think that's a big lesson here is you've purposefully gone in and done the things that you enjoy and are excited about. And you'll lead through that instead of trying to lead through, I've got to create a business, I've got products. Do you know what I mean? Like the world these days seems to be like 6-figure businesses, and then people can't build the media.
Okay. So I'm glad we talked about this, because I was just talking to you in Bali about how I membership sites and whatever. Now, if life in this situation has taught me one thing, there's a whole heap of ways you can make money. So like for me, money's not the be all and end all, but I'd rather do it in a way which I love. So like my thing is, I could focus on a business, a membership site and whatever, and probably make really good money. Or I could put the focus on building such a huge brand where I can do massive brand deals. I can, make money off ads. I can sell my own merchandise, but still have that real huge freedom. Sell books, but that comes off the back of me really backing myself to build that huge personal brand to make that happen. So it's like, sometimes there's so many ways to do it, but really focus on the way you really want to do it. Because anyway, if you do something right and you build a strong enough kind of community, there's a lot of ways you can kind of monetize it or whatever. The funny thing for me now is it's not so much about the money. Like before it really was. Now it's just about what I'm building. Now it's about how happy it's making me feel that I'm actually on the path to creating what I've always talked about. And the money, lo and behold, is starting to come in. Now it's starting, like that opportunities are coming up. And now I'm like, it's cool, but is it going to require too much of my time that's taking me away from my end goal? So
it's service. The thing that I love about you is you're a prime example. Like obviously us living in Bali, there's a lot of people chasing significance or success, but very few people here are chasing service. And I think that's the thing, like being in this area where there's a lot of so-called influencers. Like I always see this business is when you chase service, significance and success will follow. And you're the prime example. You've gone out there and you're helping people. You're not just chasing significance.
Absolutely. And then it's funny because you start doing that, you start serving people. That's when you start to kind of get the recognition and things. I mean, it's a weird old one, But that's it for me. So I've got obviously huge personal goals in that sense. Like it's like when I say about the TV work and media, it's not like about their ego or whatever. Like for me, it's I thrive being on camera. Like I love it, and I love creating good stories. And I know I'm good at doing that, but to be able to do it on a huge scale, you know, you still want to be successful. You still want to earn the money, undoubtedly. But I see that rather than focusing on like restaurants and whatever now, I truly believe I've got that belief back where I can create a strong enough brand where I can do huge brand deals, where I can do, you know, have a huge YouTube channel and do my own merchandising produce, put my own name on pots and pans, you know, like, but I know to achieve that, I need to give, and never take one follower for granted. Like respond to all the messages when I can. I don't take anything for granted I've got now, and know the end goal, and that's to serve people, better people's lives, help them along the way, and in return, that's obviously going to help me in whichever way develop my business and core brand. So I think it's going to be a huge year.
Izzy, it is.
Yeah,
It's,
you know.
trust me, I see it in people. I've done it twice on this show. I've said, watch these people, they will blow. And I think you're going to be the third on the show.
Yeah, that's
You
unlucky.
can see it. It's like it's already happening. The best thing is that the love about this conversation is you knew, and it was fun. Like even when you were in Bali with us and you felt like you didn't know because it was the thing that scared you the most, you already knew what you needed to do. It was just doing it.
Yeah, exactly. I remember it's a prime example. We're obviously going to sit down one day and have a toast and laugh about it because you've seen it. Like you're someone who really understands it.
In your own branded mugs.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's like a cup of tea. Very Costanza, my big curly hair on the thing. No, it's going to be interesting because like we had so many of those conversations where we were like, you know deep down, and between you and Miles were obviously really supportive. So it's like it's going to be interesting. Like I mean it'd be good to have, because this is all out there now. I've told my public goals, so it would be good to in 6 months or when it's really happened to come back on there. And if you know,
oh, this is another good thing. Like, oh, I'm so glad you brought this up. We've never had a platform to speak about this. Like when you build a good like community of people who support you, they'll want to help you. Like you've given so much that if you say to people, I'm trying to hit this goal because I want to help more people, they help. They're trying to help you, actively sharing your stuff to tell more people to help you achieve yours. And I think that's one of the biggest things. I think fulfillment and service, it comes full circle. I think if you serve and give with value, your people value you enough to help you achieve your own goals.
Yeah, it does. So one last thing on the subject, because I was talking about going live and having conversations. So quite often within social media, you hear people say, "Oh, can you hit like, share, blah blah blah." Some people, they don't really get the importance. So when I sit down and live stream to people and they're like, "Oh, thanks so much for your recipes, we really love you, blah blah blah," I say, "Look, thank you," and I'm just honest with them. I'm like, "Look, if you can share this, it would be really great." The reason being, and you tell them honestly, you say it allows me to get eyes on my brand, which helps me grow an audience, you know. And people understand when you're just telling them to hit like, share, you know, they don't understand the importance of it.
Yeah.
Because I have to remember the majority of people watching, they don't understand social media, a lot of them. So like when you build that thing with them and you're like, "Oh, we really love what you do, thank you so much," and you're honest with them, you say, "No, thank you for your time. Could you do me a favor?" Like in my last post that's been shared quite a lot on Instagram, I said, "Look, if you want to do me a favor, you know, you share this with your friend, would be amazing." You know, in a nice way, if they want to do it, bang, loads of people start sharing it. With them providing that thing, I'm replying to their messages and whatever. So they're building that connection. So then they start to want to help you. I know there's people there, my friends, who'll scroll past, don't engage. They're like, "Oh, fuck it, you know, whatever." Friends, family. But now I've developed this kind of thing with people because I'm responding to them, I'm helping them out. So now they don't know me, but they're inclined to help me, that share it, you know, which is massive for Instagram to alert my account to push it out. They share it with their friends, so it builds my audience by just being honest with them and say, "Look, it would really help you. You don't have to do it, but it'd be great." And this comes off the back of like live streaming, just serving, just giving your time to people to help them, but also really taking into account them. Don't ignore them, you know, because it's still them giving their time to watch you as well. So it's like a two-way thing. Yeah, you help people out massively, but they're giving you their precious time to watch you. Like, yeah, you are providing for them, but at the same time, it's like, thank you. You could have done a lot of other stuff with your time. You sat there and watched a live stream of me for 3 hours answering the same questions because you're kind of into what I do, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like,
I think that's been one of the biggest reasons this podcast has blown up so much, is because that's what we were just like, look, this is just completely here to help people. Like, we just want to help more people all over the world. You help us share it. And I think that's one of the biggest things that's led to it. But the other thing I want to touch up on what you just said is I've always found the psychology amazing of how someone who you've never met, who you've had 3, 1 or 2 even interactions with, will be more inclined to help you than someone who you've known your entire life.
Yeah, it's a weird one, that, like, for whatever reason. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's strange, but I guess, like, I've noticed as I've got older, you know, it's not that you want support from people, but sometimes you look like, really? You know, are they insecure about something, or are they just like, is it a resentment thing? Or, you know, whatever, I guess. I don't really know. But yeah, it's like, but this is where it's like, yeah, another important thing we're going is, it's like understanding this. One thing I couldn't deal with before, when I'll post something on Facebook, I'll be like and share, no one would do it. You have to understand it's just not your audience. Like, it's not what they're into. So,
oh, perfect. You know, great conversation. Do you feel it was because of the So again, this is so good that we're having this conversation. So again, those people have the picture of who you were when you were with them, and they don't know the new thing. So a lot of the time, you're literally having to start fresh, like build.
Yeah, exactly.
Thing.
Exactly. They know you for one thing. Like, for me, I used to talk shit about having the X, Y, Z, but so maybe they just got bored of it, or they don't, like, they connected with you, but they don't have that deep enough connection. But it's like, whatever. So they're not into it. So I'd post 1,000 friends on Facebook. No one's really liking or sharing. So they'd ignore it because I've asked them to like and share. So they pretend they've not seen it. So if they like it, so they don't have to have that awkwardness of, oh, why didn't you share it, you know? But then what you start to do is, like, once you get over that, and this is one thing I used to have an issue with. It was like, why aren't people liking and sharing my friends and family or whatever? You know, my mum would, obviously, because it's my mum. But once you can get over that's just not your audience. It's not your market. Maybe they love you as a person, but maybe they're not into what it is you're doing, which is fine. But you'd think they'd be the first ones to share, but really it's not that way. You'll find that once you start putting stuff out on the internet and someone's connected with you, they're going to be the ones who grow, because that's your community. That's the ones who are really searching for what it is you're giving. Whereas your friends and family, it's like, well, whatever. I know this is what you do. So they psychologically, they can't get over it. So they know you. So it's like, whatever. But when you've got someone like, I see it all the time. It's like, people will almost do anything, just have a conversation with you. Like, the amount of people that want to do like meet and greets now and take a photo and whatever, which is quite weird, but like, for them, because you built that kind of thing up with them, so they do stuff like they want to help you grow, you know, because they're into what it is you do. So important to just like get over that when you post it out on Facebook, that not everyone's going to share, it's not going to go viral, not everyone's going to buy it. You just have to get over that you know, it's just not your audience, it's not your community who they're not really buying in to what you do. So you just have to develop that, and that can take time, or it can happen quickly.
I always say you've got to like just stand your ground, stay rooted, and just be a lighthouse for your people to come to you and understand that some people sail away and some people stay there. And I think, you know what I mean? When you start taking that dynamic personally, it's a game ender. I think once you right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it really is. It really is. It's amazing because the ups and downs are like, it's just funny the stage I'm at now. I'm just like, I do not give a fuck, you know. Like, I used to post on my Instagram and say, I've only been unfollowed this many times. What have I done wrong? I need to do something more to piss more people off, you know. Because it's like, you weed out all these people. You don't want to piss everyone off, but like, it's just like, I do not care now about numbers anymore. The only reason I care about numbers is its metrics. Like, it adds huge leverage to my brand and the brand deals I can do. So when I set myself goals of like 100K and whatever, it's because I know what I can do with those numbers. If there's 100K on Instagram, I can drive them to YouTube. I can use that leverage for my own personal brand to get brand deals. So the actual thing about the vanity metrics, it's like, who cares? You know, like, not asked at all. Like, not asked at all.
But
It's
that's
like,
the thing, though. Like the vanity, like that's what I love about it. Those who focus on the vanity metrics, right, complete off topic ish. I always say there's a huge difference between being looked at and being seen. And I think when you're chasing the vanity metrics, you're losing track of who you are. You're having to show.
yeah,
Does that make sense? You're becoming
yeah,
less and less authentic. And I was like,
yeah,
you've got 100k followers, but are you who you like actually are, or are you just?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
You're
so,
just
it's
being
so
this
bizarre. And it's
polished
like,
bullshit figure.
yeah, it's like it's so strange. Like, and the way it makes me feel sad, like you see some of the girls, the stuff they do for engagement, and it's like, you look and you're like, you know, I mean,
Especially
guys
over
as
here.
well. Guys do complete dickhead things, right? They do. But sometimes you see girls overly exposing themselves just for those kind of like, to essentially seek what's the word? Seek
Validation.
validation from people they don't know or will never meet on the internet. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. And it's like some of the stuff they do.
We the thing, like, people look like so for example, we were consulting, I'm not going to name names, but there was a girl who we know, amazingly smart girl. She was putting out loads of value and all that sort of stuff. But what she'd get really annoyed at the vanity metrics. She was like, look, these are the things I want to talk about myself. I want to like do, this is my journey. This is the thing that's really powerful to me that I want to start putting out there on media. But then she started doing that and it wasn't hitting with her audience. So then it all changed. Then she'd go back to the old thing of posting a quick booty pic and all. And it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
And she got stuck in that limbo land.
Yeah, so this is where people go wrong. They build the wrong audience. Like, I've spoken to people with like 50,000, 6,000. They're like, well, I've got this, but how do I build that? And then you like, look, you're like, well, how did you build it in the first place? And it's getting their arse out. And you're like, so you've essentially got a bunch of horny guys who are only interested in liking your stuff. You're not going to sell them bikinis or anything like that. You know,
Exactly.
The only way you might monetize it is by doing OnlyFans or something. So you've got to get over like the numbers and be like, well, what do I want to be known for? Like, do I want to create a freedom business? If so, maybe I've got to start over and start showing what I want to share to inspire people. If I've got a bunch of guys who are only liking my ass pictures, like, how does that translate to making you feel good about yourself? One, you know, oh no, I shouldn't post positive information that could potentially change someone's life because I don't get as much likes as when I get my ass out. You know, like, at some stage you've got to look and question why you're posting this shit on social media. Like, what are you gaining from it? For me, I mean, that's my view on it. Like, it really is. Like, you know, I could probably get more if I was constantly like being really flirtatious and doing stupid shit like that. But it's like, I don't care if I've got 1,000, 1,500 likes on a post. I'll do some little bits, cheeky bits, but it's more for marketing or whatever. But I think, yeah, it's really, I mean, everyone uses social media for different things, but it's like this person in particular, it's like because she's grown the wrong audience to start with. So when they've put out stuff that puts them thing, guys are like, oh, it's not an arse, it's not boobs, not interested.
I've seen so many. I've been doing this a lot of years. I've seen so many failed launches because people who have got these huge audiences and they're the wrong audiences have gone to market with a product where if you've got nearly 250,000 or even 1 million people and you're putting something out there, do you know what I mean? And it fails because it's not the right thing. So for example, like you were saying, the influencer who tries to sell bikinis, but her audience is built up of horny old men.
Yeah.
It's a devalued, exactly.
It's like, what are you trying to achieve? Like, you're not going to work with makeup brands. You're not going to work with bikini brands. The only thing you can sell to these guys is OnlyFans content, a calendar with your boobs out or whatever. What else are you going to, you know, advertisers are going to look and be like, right, cool, that's really good. Let me look at the metrics. Oh, you've got 80, 90% guys. This is the type of content you post. Am I going to pay you to represent my brand knowing it's falling on the wrong eyes? No. So you have to, it's so important when you're starting out, is understanding why you're doing what you're doing, because it's time consuming. It is time consuming, and it's like, and then really beyond the time, it's like, what do you want to be known for at the end? Like, is that literally all you want to do? Are you just trying to get invited to celebs parties or whatever, and just be another person who's just hit on and took advantage of? I don't know. I know there's a lot who are doing stuff well and profiting, and if it's, to each their own. But I'm just like, I always tell people, look at the end goal first, and kind of work backwards.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, I think when you do it right, and it's not mentally draining. But I think when you're doing it wrong, it's stressful. Do you know what I mean? You can get so it's So, Izzy, look, I want to respect your time, buddy. So, look, I appreciate the fact that you've come on. I can tell you now.
No, I've loved this. Sorry if I went on a bit, but I think
please, always go on. Always go on.
All in all, I reckon it was a pretty valuable podcast.
100%. But look, I get people. I've had this a couple of times with people. I'm like, this person's going to pop and fly, and I can tell you now, and I can tell the audience, like, please watch this person, because although we're speaking about it in early stages, I already know where it's going to go. So it's amazing to have you on, even though you're crushing it on all of the platforms at the minute and you're speaking about it. But it's actually great to watch now in real time, to actually see it all unfolding and happening. So, like, completely
definitely
on that.
And I think we review it in like 6 months or a year. So if I put it out there, I mentioned it earlier, like my goals by the end of the year. So we're made now 1.25 million on TikTok. Within a year, I want 100k on YouTube to get a plaque, and I want to have done at least one cooking on TV, providing the virus buggers off soon, to really get my thing on media. So let's see. This is where I'm at now. I'm on to almost 22k followers on Instagram, 160 on TikTok, only like 3,500-4,000 on YouTube. So this is where I'm at now. And how am I going to do it? Show up every single day, push my comfort zones, and just be consistent. So if people are watching it now and want to follow along the journey, obviously just pop on and see if I'm full of shit in 6 months to a year. But yeah, like you say, it'd be a different conversation in 6 months to a year, and I'm sure like I'll have a heap loads. Maybe we could factor one in towards the end of the year, a little New Year's Eve special.
Oh, 100%. But the thing is, I love this episode's going to be, so I had a feature interview, which is going to go in front of this, about finding your purpose. So it falls in so well with coming off the back.
Perfect.
So, look, Izzy, where can people find you? Where can people laugh at you and with you?
Yeah, so best way is if I read it out, Guero Cocinando. So GueroCocinando. I don't even know my name in Spanish, like Guero Cocinando. Yeah, Ismaeel Razavi. I'm on Simon's friend list, obviously. So yeah, and if anyone's ever got anyone wants to reach out about storytelling or whatever, obviously more than happy to give up a little bit of time to help. If anyone's wanting to start on the journey and doesn't feel supported or trusted, like I'm always all up for. It's very rare like I give up my time and bits like that, but if it's a sport, someone like that, I'm always pushing people to get that message out there. So it's like, if anyone's seriously considering it, and yeah, just inbox me, hun.
DMs. Last but not least, can we get you to round up this episode as a character of your choice?
So I think it's got to be you know how you used to sign off on the Kitchen Nightmares? When I first arrived here, I met a podcaster, Simon, great guy. Haven't been here for the last hour. Damn, still fucking great. It's like, outside he always explains about the restaurant. Yeah, damn, insane. Oh man, I love Ramsey. Yeah. So that's it. So I guess
it's been amazing. Thank you for getting on here, mate. It's been good to have you on.
No worries, thank you. I'm glad we got it done.